Okay, so we're gonna start this. Like I say, I'm just gonna be doing some we're gonna watch, and I'm gonna pause and react every so often.
Hey guys, Mal here, and today we're taking a look at R3A1 in GTFO. Now our mission is to get this weird space baby casket over to a charging station.
Space baby casket. No. No. Okay, one, we're not in space. We're underground. Two, it's not a casket. It's a hydrostasis unit. It just happens to be the size of a baby because it's a baby in the hydrostasis unit. But it's not a casket. The thing inside is alive. Just like when you first start the game, like playing the game, you choose your mission and you drop in. The scene is you coming out of your HSU. So you're being awoken from your hydrostasis unit and dropped in underground on Earth, not in space. Anyways, it's an important distinction.
And then back to the extraction point. This can be a super chill and easy level if you do it right. Start clearing through the rooms. Initially, it's not going to give you many options. Clear all the rooms and areas that you have access to. You're looking for two things. One being supplies in the orange lockers and boxes, the other being a terminal. The key to making this level easy is having information. You could just systematically clear every single room, but some will definitely cost you far more than you gain.
Not necessarily.
Alternatively, you can figure out where to go so you aren't clearing unnecessary rooms. For anyone that is brand new to GTFO, these are sleepers. They can be sitting or standing, and they are asleep. When they glow and make the clicking sound, they are sensing movement. So if you see one glowing nearby or hear the clicking, just chill out. You can still look around, you just can't stand or move. Make your way over to them while they're not glowing, and then charge up a nice melee hit to take them out. You might be tempted to just shoot them,
So you can move, just not a lot. Like if you were to keep walking for a second or two, it's not the end of the world. Because they have two phases of sensing. So it's like they light up and they're sensing, and then they pulse, and that's when you really want to stop. You're going to hear that pulsing sound. But I mean, otherwise, yeah, that's true.
Particularly if there aren't many in the room, don't waste the ammo. It may seem like you're well stocked, but that can change so quickly from one room to the next.
Very true.
If you can stealth melee kill your way through every room, you should do it.
100%.
Let's pause for a second right here. Now, as some of you may have noticed, I've done a no-no. In trying to get into position for a kill, I've accidentally bumped into a sleeper and woken it up. Now, it's important not to freak out or freeze up when this happens. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's bad.
He immediately started moving, so he says don't freak out, but then he kind of did just that. So he bumps into the one that's closest to him. That's the only one that's going to be alert. The one right next to it, the shooter is alert. The one right next to it, the striker, will alert almost immediately, but the others won't alert. So if he immediately started charging and hitting this one, it's not going to scream, and then his teammates, if they're good, would run to hit the striker and not alert the rest of the room. So he's right, don't panic. However, that's what he does, because he runs away.
And woken it up. Now, it's important not to freak out or freeze up when this happens. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's bad. I really wish I didn't do that, but here we are. There are two ways to deal with this situation. One is to immediately fall back to the previous room. Any way that you know is safe and can line of sight the sleepers. That way they'll funnel into the room and your team can take them out in a less chaotic fashion. Just be careful of any crossfire. The melee weapons don't have friendly fire, however the guns do. So if you have to fall back, try to be conscious of what's past your target. Keep the lines of fire
You should
clear
anyways,
and
but
safe.
yes.
That's the safer of the two methods. However, it can consume a lot of your resources. Now, my personally preferred method is how I dealt with this situation. If you keep blocking their line of sight while you charge up your attack, you can dart in, take out a sleeper, and run off around a corner. That was a particularly tight area to have to deal with this. If you've got more room to deal with this scenario, I highly recommend sprinting and ducking left and right. The sleepers have a surprisingly difficult time hitting you while you're sprinting around.
It depends on their positioning for you. It can be difficult while you're sprinting, right? But if you're sprinting away from, like if they're looking at you, like when you're running, they're behind you, they have an 8-meter attack. They can hit you regardless of where you are. If you're running past them, and so now you're back to back, it's only a 3-meter distance, and so you have much better odds of not being hit. But I do like the concept of ducking around a corner or something, because I do that a lot, especially with shooters. I'll duck around corners. So it's not a bad theory, but again, like I was saying, his initial reaction just to this situation wasn't the greatest, because if he and his teammates had just taken out those two, the shooter and the sleeper, wouldn't have been an issue at all.
Can really help reduce the amount of hits you're taking in these kinds of encounters. Once you hit this area, you'll have multiple alarm doors to choose from. Head back here to the locked door and terminal.
Just 2.
Go to the door so you know the key color and number. Then jump on a terminal and type query and then add the key you need.
So this is like, okay, in the sense of a beginner guide, yes, this is absolutely the right way to go about it. Go to the door, get the key name, and tell whomever is on the terminal, here's what you have. Alternatively, you can just search for the key, because there's only one. So
Going to tell you what zone that key is in. Now head back to the room and check the doors. It should tell you in the upper left where it leads. Once you know which door you're going through, you can start to prepare for this. The gear that you chose initially and have found in this run dictate how this next part plays out. Alarm doors are assholes. Giant space door assholes.
Again with the space shit. We are not in space. They are not space doors, they're security doors. You're doing a security check, which he's right. They can be assholes, but it's not a fucking space door. We're not in space. We're not in space. We're underground. Like, that's why the different missions go down, because you go deeper underground.
Starting one turns on an alarm which sends endless hordes at you until you disarm it. You do so.
I'm going to rewind here real quick. Yes, so that what he just said is correct too. If you don't turn the alarm off, then the sleepers are going to keep coming. And me complaining about the him referring to twice now referring to space might be a nitpicky kind of thing, but it's important to distinct, because again, we're not in space and there's lore, right? Like, part of the lore is that we are at the site where the meteor that killed the dinosaurs is. So, like, there's actual lore behind it, and so it does matter.
Assholes. Starting one turns on an alarm which sends endless hordes at you until you disarm it. You do so by getting the whole team to the door for the initial scan. Once it completes, a white line will start running off. Follow it closely. That splits into 4 separate lines, and each have a red circle on the end.
Not always,
but
yes.
Get in the red circle to help disarm it. Some
Sometimes
doors
it's only
have
one.
1 or 2 of these disarming waves to do for each door. Others down the track have 3 or 4. It's definitely worth learning this mechanic fast.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely something to learn quickly. It doesn't always split into 4. Sometimes it doesn't split at all. Sometimes it splits into 2 large ones. Sometimes it splits into 4. So keep that in mind.
Stay calm and focus on what you're doing. They are just going to keep coming until you get that alarm off. If you need to kite a group of them around while your team works on getting the spots, that's fine. Additionally, I mentioned the gear before. This is where that comes into play. If you have found a seafoam grenade or someone has a seafoam launcher, you can seal up doors leading to this area. Sealing a door with seafoam makes it way harder for a horde to beat through.
Yes.
If someone brought in a turret, you can stick it on the outside aiming at the door before you seafoam the door. That way as the horde tries to break through, the turret will tear them up and get rid of a bunch for you.
Which is very, very smart. And what we do, right? That's absolutely what we do. It's not what he did here, though, because that's on the inside. That's a turret on the inside. So, granted, the door is broken, but just a minute ago when they seafoamed the door and he turned around and ran back, that turret was there. So, he didn't put it on the outside. So but anyways, yes, that's a very, very good tactic to do. Put your turret on the outside. Whether it's a burst or shotgun, does not matter. Because if it's outside, it's going to target stuff. And they can't break through the door because of the seafoam, so they're going to get shot a lot.
If you have an excess of seafoam or an extra couple of seafoam grenades lying around, then you can reseal the door once they bust the initial layer of seafoam off.
Yes.
You've got to be quick though. So if you're planning on trying this to buy more time, then have someone dedicated to watching the door and adding more seafoam.
Yep, we do that.
After they're out, they can join the group in getting circles if needed. If you do happen to have a seafoam grenade to spare, consider holding on to it because it's going to be really handy soon. This alarm door isn't that bad. We threw a turret out there, sealed it up, and it worked nicely for us.
Sure.
Okay, so moving into the next room, we have something a little special and extra terrifying for you to deal with.
Oh, it's the scout.
You'll know when you're about to meet this new special friend very easily. There's this extremely uncomfortable slithering noise that it makes.
Yep.
It's quite possibly one of the worst sounds ever put in a video game. This is the scout.
Yep.
He shambles around the place, stopping occasionally.
Scouts are shooters. They're female. This is confirmed by the devs through dialogue in the game.
To let a bunch of tentacles out around the room. If you touch one of those tentacles, he wakes up. Don't waste your ammo on him because he's invincible until he stops screaming. Instead, start taking out the sleepers in the room because he's waking all of them up. He's also bringing a horde from the way you came and any walkers in adjacent rooms.
That's not entirely accurate. That's mostly right. So if you hit, say you hit the scout or you fail to kill it, you bump it, or you touch one of the tentacles, then sorry, my dog is begging for attention. If you touch one of the tentacles or you try to hit the scout with your hammer, or you bump into her, or she walks into you, or she surprises you like she's done to me many times, coming up a ladder or something, any number of things that do not kill the scout, she will alert the room, so she screams. She's invulnerable during that time. She screams. It does wake the entire room, but it doesn't wake adjacent rooms. That's not true. It does spawn a second wave. 90-ish% of the time it's going to come from behind you. But not exclusively. There have been instances where we have been in a room where a scout was alerted and the spawn came from in front of us. It did not come from behind. That does happen. It's not very often. It's almost always going to be coming from behind you, the second wave that it spawns, but that's not exclusive. And again, it alerts just the room and brings in a second wave. It does not alert adjacent rooms. That is wrong.
In other words, do everything you possibly can to avoid touching one of this thing's tentacles. It's just a lot of bad times if you do, and nobody wants that. So how do you deal with this thing? Well, for starters, if someone has a bio tracker, they can tag it because it's moving. This applies to any monster once they're awake and moving around. It's particularly handy here because if you want to, you can try and stealth around the room, avoiding the encounter entirely.
Yes.
This is probably the best option for conserving resources. However, it's also the riskiest because one wrong move and you've got hell coming down on top of you.
I don't know that it's necessarily the riskiest because you can stealth around the room. That especially this room. This room's huge, so you can stealth around the room and not alert or not come anywhere near the scout, not run the risk of alerting the scout. So I don't know if it's necessarily the riskiest. It is definitely the best method, though, like he says, because you're conserving all your resources.
If you've got a seafoam grenade, you can seafoam it and then go in and merely kill it.
Yes.
If you haven't got a seafoam grenade, but you've got giant balls of steel, you can try and follow its tentacles in as it sucks them back.
I must have giant balls of steel because I've gotten plenty of melee kills on a scout. Although you don't have to follow, you can crawl underneath them too. If you happen to be close enough when the tentacles start coming out, you can crouch and just walk right up to it, and you'll be underneath the tentacles because they're coming out of her back / back of her neck ish. I don't know. It's not entirely. It looks like her back, but then she stands up, so I don't really know. But either way, if you're close enough, you can just walk right under, get a charged hammer shot, and hit her right in the head. So you don't have to follow them in. You can also, if you're running, like if you dead sprint with a charged hammer, you can run through the tentacles while they're out, and as long as you hit her in the head so the tentacles will turn red if they touch you, and as long as you hit her in the head and kill her with a fully charged hammer before the tentacles are pulled back in, she does not wake up, or she doesn't alert the room, and you kill her. So there's lots of ways to do hammer kills with scouts. The safest is to follow the tentacles in, but sometimes she turns around and goes away from you, and you need to be charging your hammer shot as you move in, following those tentacles. I imagine he's going to talk about shooting it with a sniper rifle since that's what he's got here. That's probably the next thing he's going to say.
Then once you get to it, smack it in the head with a fully charged shot. Again, extremely risky, but can pay off if you've got someone that can pull that kind of stuff off under pressure.
We have lots of those.
My preferred method is to find someone in your group that is a solid shot with a sniper rifle. Try and find line of sight from as far back in the previous rooms as possible. Get ready to take the shot while its tentacles are out.
Should be shooting now.
As soon as it finishes sucking them back in, pop it in the head.
You can do it anytime.
If everything goes according to plan, the scout should be dead and nothing else should be angry. If you are too close when
So yes, he's right. You do need to be very far away from the door, like in this case, very far away from the security door, because the sound will travel into the next room. If you are far enough away, it won't alert the room. So that's all correct. You don't need to wait until the tentacles are back in. If you've got a line of sight on the head, shoot it. Right? You're just shoot it. Don't wait, because all you're doing is wasting potential time. Now there's two positions the scout will be in: crouched over or standing up. And it's both, right? So when she first sends out tentacles, she bends over, then once they're fully extended, she'll stand up and then wait a few seconds and then draw them back in. So she will be both hunched over and standing up. So just keep that in mind if you're going to take a shot, that the head will move. And it has to be, well, no, it doesn't have to be a headshot anymore. It used to have to be a headshot. Now they've buffed the sniper rifle, so you can even kill it with a body shot from the sniper, specifically the sniper rifle. Only with the sniper rifle. Everything else has to be a headshot. Like if you have a revolver, you can shoot the back of the head of the scout from a medium range. It can't be too far away. But if you have a revolver to the back of the head, that will work. But yes, with a sniper rifle, you can hit anywhere in the body now in this rundown, because they buffed the damage that the sniper rifle does.
When you took your shot, then some or all of the sleepers in the room will be angry, which is much easier to deal with than the extra rooms and horde from triggering the scout. Now here's the last of the surprises for this level, the big sleepers. They may pop up before now.
That's not the last of the surprises for this level, but we'll talk about that in a second, I guess. That's a big shooter. female shooter, big girl, as we like to call them.
But now's as good a time as any to cover them for the newcomers. They're bigger, meaner versions of the small sleepers.
True.
The super big ones are all about melee attacking you, and
they're both super big. The giant, the big boys, the giant strikers, aka the Titans, is what he's referring to now. But the one that's on screen is a giant shooter, not a giant striker. So just, so people aren't confused, thinking that what you see on screen here is what he's referring to, because he's talking about all about hitting you. This one's not. This one's a shooter.
Ones like this are going to shoot those annoying light orbs at you.
Oh, he did correct himself.
Now you're going to want everyone to give it a good full charge whack, and then another half charge.
Okay, so that's not right. That's not true. If you've got 4 players, 4 fully charged hammer hits will kill a big girl, a giant shooter. 4 fully charged hammer hits that connect. They have to hit, right? But 4 fully charged hammer hits will kill a big girl, a giant shooter. You don't need an extra half charge. The only time that ever happens is if someone misses, which does happen because they stagger when you hit them. So what we like to do is make sure that people take a step forward. Like the first hit happens and you take a step forward as you swing. But as long as you have 4, that's it. That's all you need to kill one of these.
The first time actually...
Only 3 are needed for the giant strikers, for the Titans, the big boys. You only need 3 people. The big girls have more energy. The big girls have more health than the big boys. So giant shooters have more health. They need 4 hits. The giant strikers have less health. They only need 3.
Doing it is a real butt clencher. But after that, you'll be more comfortable with it, and it saves a bunch of ammo. If you come across any doors, lockers, or boxes that have one of these locks on it, you can hold E to hack the lock. It's a little minigame. Click your mouse when it's in the orange 3 times. The orange gets smaller each time. If you mess it up, the lock emits a really annoying noise that, in addition to being annoying, also wakes up nearby sleepers. Either clear the room first or don't mess it up. Alternatively, if someone has found a lock melter, they can take it out with one.
Yes.
Important little note about the sleepers. If you do move a little while they're glowing, they freak out a little, but not enough to wake up, so long as you stop.
He's right. That's true. But why didn't he say that 6 minutes ago when he first started talking about these things? We're 8 minutes into the video and he's just now mentioning that. But he was talking about don't move like 5-6 minutes ago. Anyways, that's true. You do have a few seconds. I mentioned that earlier.
Stop moving. You only have to worry about them when they go red, like that. Now, once again, I want to reiterate that it's important not to panic in these situations. I was right next to this sleeper, so I quickly got rid of him. Then I started sprinting and charging my next shot. I do swap to my sniper because I noticed the big sleepers at the back of the room. While melee killing is your best option for killing them, if they're awake, immediately go to guns. I particularly like the sniper because you can drop the big sleepers in 3 chest shots, saves a lot of ammo and keeps the fight a lot more calm.
I'm not sure exactly how accurate that is as far as the 3 shots to the chest. I haven't personally tested that, but we've got guys on the team that run snipers all the time, and would be able to confirm the accuracy to how many shots it takes. Again, the giant shooters have more health than the giant strikers, so it's going to be different. So that was a giant shooter, so maybe it is 3 for that one, but it would only be 2 for a giant striker, although I don't think that that's right. But anyways.
Runs can be stressful and long. Unless the game forces you to go fast, then you have no reason to. This is a slow and precise game.
Yes.
You can't Rambo it. You've got to work as a team and communicate well, or you will all die.
Yes.
Once you get to this room, you'll have another alarm door. This alarm door will be worse than the last one. For these alarm doors, you really want to buy as much time as you can. Ideal circumstances are you getting the door alarm off and being in position for the horde before they get in. Not gonna lie, that rarely ever actually
that's not
occurs
gonna happen in this
unless
case.
you've got a lot of sea foam to burn. Just do the best that you can, and remember that getting the alarm off as fast as possible is crucial. You don't want to have to kill 2 hordes.
Okay. Yeah, you can seafoam that door. That's fine. That's not the end of the world to seafoam that one, because it's going to keep them out of the room entirely. However, the door that he just ran through, the one that he's standing right at, we will put our turrets facing that door, close that one, and seafoam that one, because the enemies in this game will take the quickest path to you. It's a path of least resistance. That's just how the AI is programmed. So they are going to run to that door every time. So it's also a lot less running for you if you want to re-seafoam that, which is a smart play. When he talks about re-seafoaming, that's smart. So re-seafoam the closer door would just, you don't have to run as far then, right? So you're guaranteed that they're going to come to this, and then yeah, the whole distance of running, if you're going to, because everybody has to be there for the first scan, and then whoever's running seafoam or has grenades is going to have to run up to this door, so have less time to run.
Just to get through a single door. In our case, we went back and sealed up 3 doors with a turret on the outside to buy us as long as possible. Now, I messed up here. You should never start an alarm door until your whole team are at the point. You want to buy as much time as you can for your team here, not give free time to the horde. Things get extremely hectic once the horde gets through to the room. Do the best that you can. If you've got time to res a teammate, it's always worth doing. Try and get the red security spots, but if you need to bail rather than get jumped by 5 sleepers, then obviously bail. You can cut.
I do want to mention, so earlier he talked about this is the last surprise of the level, which was the giants, right? The big boys, the big girls. He mentioned that after you go into your first security zone, you do your first security scan, and then he's talking about we got a new surprise, and it's a scout. And then he says that there's one more surprise, and that is the Titans, the giants. But that's not right, and I said that before. This is why. When you're at this part, there's the third and final surprise of this, as far as enemy type goes. This is the third and final surprise, and that's the hybrids. So the hybrids, which I haven't heard him talk about yet, they're here right now. When he's doing these security scans, the hybrids are here, and they are essentially a hybrid between a spoiler alert, a charger, which is basically a striker that just hits you with his hands, and a shooter. So the hybrids, you can tell they're different for 2 reasons. One, they have spikes on their face. So after we had killed one in R2, we discovered they are female, which fits because they're shooters. The feminine body type is what gives that away. So she will have spikes on her face. Also, if you are close enough to one, you can see their face. But so she's got spikes on her face. She'll hit you if you're close enough. Like, she'll bitch slap you if you're close enough. And then on top of that, she shoots those same orbs, the white orbs that he's talking about, but she shoots a lot more. Hybrids will shoot many more, way faster. So they do a little less damage, but there's so many more of them that you're going to get hit more. So that's a big surprise here. And I'm like I said, when he said that there's only one other surprise, I'm like, no, No, you're forgetting about the hybrids, which is a really big thing to drop on someone in A1. However, we had them later in R2, and so they're not a new enemy to the game. But anybody who's brand new to the game now in R3, they are going to be a very serious competitor for you that you're not even aware of until you get to this point here.
Like them around and come back to it. The final room. The place you've spent quite a...
See, he completely skipped over talking about hybrids. The hybrids are here, and they are a pain in the ass because they do a lot of damage by shooting a lot at you, and then if you do get close enough to where they can't shoot you, they will bitch slap you. So, yes.
A while working towards getting to. The place that you need to bring the baby casket for recharging.
Not fucking damn it.
Before you do anything crazy, put down the weird box and...
Okay. Again, not a casket, and we're not recharging it. We're not recharging. It's not a battery. It's not a battery. We're not recharging anything. Okay? We are bringing the HSU to this area where we are waking the baby up. We're bringing the baby out of hydrostasis. And it's a 3-step process that you discover throughout the rundown. I'm not going to say any more than that.
And take a minute. Search the room for any lockers or boxes, heal everyone up, give out any ammo or tool refills. Just really prepare yourself. See, once you charge the baby casket up, it's go time. As in,
not charging.
GTFO
not a casket.
Go time. Alarms will kick off and you've got to leg it back to the start of the level where you were dropped off. Not only that, but someone has to carry the baby casket the whole way there. Now that sucks for multiple reasons. The primary one being that they will move slower. The secondary one being that they can't shoot or help. The last one being that the alarms have summoned a bunch of hordes to come and eat your face. So once you charge it up, grab and go as fast as you can. Keep the guy carrying it safe. Sleepers will come from everywhere, even in front. You also have to hold the extraction point for a while, and it doesn't count unless the baby casket is within it. So if you've got any ammo left in turrets, then have those people ready to drop them facing away from the group once you get there. Do the best that you can. It'll be a bit messy, but if you're quick to get moving with it, then you shouldn't have too many sleepers reaching you by the time you extract. Congratulations, you just survived. This is a really solid level to introduce people to GTFO.
It is.
The mechanics and the hardships. Bask in your glory now, because just around the corner in R3A2, there's a whole new hell waiting for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
So yeah. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who this person is. I had just, I'd stumbled onto his...
You're not a dish. You're a man. Most name brand bars and body...
Stop. I don't know who this guy is. I was on Reddit, and I saw this GTFO beginner guide, and I'm like, oh, cool. And so I loaded the video up, and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, there's a lot of good points there, but there's so many things that are wrong with that. So many things that are wrong with that. Yeah, so... Well, anyways, I do the whole GTFO thing quite regularly, usually about 3 nights a week, over on my channel, twitch.tv/tripodgg. So feel free to stop on by and ask any questions you may have if you're a new player, or if you're a veteran player and you want to get down, or even if you're a new player and you want to get down. Like, I'm always down to play with people. So if you're watching this over on YouTube, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Tons of GTFO content over here. And yeah, so I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.